Yeah.
Stephen A. Smith
Right.
was the conductor of that train.
Yes.
He built the train, he put it on the tracks, and then he shoveled the coal into the freaking furnace.
He's driving by himself, too.
And just so people understand, we're talking about Stephen A. Smith saying that it was unfair.
He said it was white privilege.
It was white privilege, and it was unfair.
Steve Nash being hired by the Brooklyn Nets was an example of white privilege.
Which to me is ridiculous. But I am of white privilege, so it's hard for me to have some sort of Well, people will question my objectivity. But first of all,
why did he say it?
Well, I think it's just the narrative in the United States now with the whole Black Lives Matter. And there is no doubt, there is absolutely no doubt in my mind, there are racist undertones with many appointments, not just in the United States, but throughout the world. And there is a narrative going on, but he jumped on the wrong horse on this one, in my view.
Yeah, I agree.
1,000%.
Yeah.
I mean, because there's no way to defend it. As far as it was white privilege, because I mean, essentially it was Steve Nash has never coached before. And now he's coaching the Brooklyn Nets, who is, and this is another false storyline added to it to try to kind of prop up the idea that this was white privilege. It was basically Steve Nash has never coached before, and now he's been handed a team that is championship or bust. It's not championship or bust. Yeah. KD and Kyrie just signed contracts. Yeah. Like, if they don't win it this coming year, it's not over, right? So that's kind of stupid. Second, if you want to go, well, what's the wisdom of that? Well, Steve Kerr had never coached prior to coaching the Warriors. And they did win a championship. So white privilege or not, the white dude did coach a team to a championship but never coached before and wasn't nearly the player that Steve Nash is. So, okay, are we still about winning or what are we doing? Third, Jason Kidd was hired without any previous coaching experience. Derek Fisher was hired without any previous coaching experience. Isaiah Thomas was hired without any previous coaching experience. So I've got more examples of Mark Jackson. Mark Jackson was hired as a head coach without any previous coaching experience. None. So, I have more examples of black athletes, former players being hired to coach than I do white coaches. So where's the white privilege? Now, it does come down to relationships. I mean, it's no accident that Sean Marks, and I don't know how you guys feel about a Kiwi being mentioned on the show, but
no, it's okay. We'll claim him. If he does good things, we claim him as Australian. Don't worry about that.
Sean and Steve played together in Phoenix. They knew each other well. Steve had a relationship that he established with Kevin Durant as a consultant with the Warriors. They worked out a lot together. Kyrie, from what I'm told, signed off on Nash being the coach. I'll put it this way. Is it white privilege when two black superstars say that's the guy we want to coach us? Like, I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it's what? We're black superstars and we want a white guy coaching us. So it's lucky that he's white. Because we were only going to pick a white guy. I don't know.
Yeah, and Stephen A. Smith looks like shit right now, to be honest, because there's a lot of guys against him. A lot of his, his fellow commentators are against him, though.
Well, and here's the biggest problem for me, and this is what this is what really makes me angry, is that when you play the card in a situation like this, it undermines the legitimacy when it is privilege, or it is when it is legit. I mean, look, Tom Thibodeau being hired by the Knicks is more white privilege than, what has Tibbs done in his last two jobs that you go, well, we got to get him for the Knicks? No, you know what it is? It's relationships. Leon Rose, his agent, now president of the Knicks. It's the same with Sean and Steve. Relationships do matter. And the fact that there is a limited number of black executives and black owners in the NBA is an influence on those relationships. And I mean, it just is that if you want to look at that, to me, that's the heart of the racial imbalance in the NBA. And that's where it has to change. And so, but that's not going to happen overnight. And that has got nothing to, I mean, that's where the whole, like, you know, and Steven played it up like, this is the hardest statement I've ever had to make on, on my show. And, but I have to, like, you know, like he gave it this gravity and he hadn't even thought about it. Because if you thought about it for 5 minutes, you go, you know, that's a stupid take. I'm your hardest.